Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, Anita Finley.
Okay, well, here we are again. Stephen Lewis, co-founder of Energetic Matrix Church of Consciousness, the EMC². EMC². Well, we talk with Stephen, and we talk about a lot of things that are quite unusual. There are very few people who can handle this kind of a conversation, but as co-author of the book Sanctuary, The Path to Consciousness, and developer of the AIM program, which is the all-inclusive method of energetic balancing. That's all you have to remember, energetic balancing. So, I'm so happy to talk to you again, Stephen. I know you have so much going on out there in the, in British Columbia, is where you are, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
It's a beautiful place, and I know that you deserve to have something lovely in your life. You've helped so many people for so many years.
Well, that's a funny thing, Anita. Let me tell you a couple of quick stories. One was someone on AIM. His wife was diagnosed with cancer. And so mother-in-law said, "Will you take a look at this, Steve?" I said, "Sure." And I found, sure enough, a cancer frequency, not in the database. It was unknown. Which is common. Cancer just mutates all the time. And if there's something not in the database, you're not going to heal it. But on the other hand, her life force was 100, and she was fine, feeling good. And I said, "Not a problem, no big deal." And they went back a month later, and it was on AIM. And of course, the oncologist couldn't find the lump anymore. He said, "What happened to it?" Huh. Well, of course, it went away. It's gone. I mean, things heal. It's routine. And the husband said, "Well, I've lost all faith in you, Steve." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay. Let's take you off the AIM program." He said, "Good idea." And
what?
Yeah. So he's off. Well, it turned out that his mother started speaking to him about what happened. Came back, he said, "I'm going to let you back on." I said, "No, I don't want you on." I said, "What?" I said, "I don't want you on. It's that simple. Life's too short to have you in it, as far as I'm concerned." And so now he's all upset. And that's one story. Another one is a guy, very bright guy, who I use as a technical consultant for all my stuff, computers and electronics and everything. He's just really sharp, who thinks that everything I do is gibberish, which is common. And he was over yesterday and hadn't seen him for about a year and a half. And he had a brace and this and that. And he said he's only seeing his old customers, nothing anyone new, because he has third-stage lymphoma, and they don't think they'll last more than another year or so. And I said something to him. He said, no, I've got the best people. I said, "Geez, do you think you're a really bright guy?" I said, "Well," I said, "No, tell the truth." He said, "Yes, I do." I said, "So do I. I think you're incredibly bright. But that hasn't helped you because you still have cancer. Have you considered that the answer for you lies in a different direction than your intellect?" And he was like that. He said, "No, there's no answer outside of intellect." Okay. But they're my two stories this morning. What do you think?
Oh, it's so wrong. It's so silly. Sometimes people get too smart for their own good, right? They don't really understand what life is all about.
There's a balance in everything. And the balance in you is your heart, your soul, your mind. You cannot just use your mind, because your mind does not address everything in your life. Your mind does not deal with things in the realm of your spirituality. Healing is a spiritual phenomenon. It's absolutely spiritual. Whether you believe in God or not, there is a thing called spirituality. And healing is a spiritual endeavor. Only you do it. No one can do it for you, but people can help you heal yourself. And those people who help you heal yourself are called healers.
Okay, I just want to just stop for a second to tell you something that Colleen, who is, of course, wonderful down here, Colleen Henney, who is one of your, I always want to say disciple, but it isn't. She's one of the healers of people who help people that go through lots of, trauma or just to get themselves on the right path. So she offered a friend of mine who just lost her son in a terrible it wasn't an automobile accident exactly, but it was, let's say, was run down. And my friend, though, I guess isn't ready for it yet. She's just a zombie and stays in her home and doesn't want to, face the world at this point. It's only been 2 weeks, so it's horrible. But I would hope soon that she'll go and see and let Colleen help her.
Well, most people find it impossible to believe in healing themselves. And it's interesting because, you can believe in that and still see your oncologist, still see your physicians. It's not either or. But that being said, most people can't believe in healing themselves. It's a very strange phenomenon.
It's everything. It has to be everything. It has to, you're right, traditional, holistic, everything that's out there. Absolutely. I believe that so strongly. And I think that there are a lot of doctors now, the practitioners, who are seeing the results, just as you said, that are kind of unbelievable. And they have to believe there's other things. It's not going to, though they're going to give up their profession, but they are getting help for their patients.
Oh, yeah. Well, there are many physicians on the program. They don't refer patients, but that's expected because if they refer patients, they very well might lose their license. So that's understandable. But it's just, I find it interesting to note that people don't want to believe in healing themselves. They go to church on Sunday and they utter the words they must. They hear the stories of Jesus, and they hear him saying, if you had the faith of a mustard seed, you could do bigger stuff than this, and on and on and on. And they go, yes, and it's wonderful. And they all say a very inspirational sermon. Thank you so much, Reverend, and blah. And they don't believe in healing themselves at all.
Well,
have you noticed that?
Yeah. Oh, I'm such a big advocate of what you just said. That's why I'm not too much a believer in going into all the religion. But I will tell you this: we live very close to a Catholic church, and we live like on a waterway. So when we're walking Snowy, our dog, people are coming from church, and most of them, they good morning. And there's this one particular woman has such a scowl on her face, and I said good morning, and she just looked at me, and I said to Bill, my husband, well, she sure didn't learn anything in church today. I felt like saying, go back to church or wherever you go because you didn't get it.
Well, and when I tell people that healing is a spiritual phenomenon, they go, oh, well, I'm an atheist. Well, first of all, I didn't say you had to believe in God. I do, but you don't have to. It's not wrong. But whether you do or don't, you must understand there is a spiritual nature to life.
Sure.
That's a different subject entirely. And so anyway, what's new with you?
Well, I was just going to say, but energy is not religious. Energy is spiritual. Energy is not. You see, not even spiritual for me. Energy is. It just is everything.
Yes, that's why I've always said to people, I can tell you everything about energy in, about 3 seconds. And they go, go ahead. Okay, it is.
That's right, it is. Really?
Well, it is everything. Because it is, period. There is no what it is. It is what it is, what it is, what it is. It has no taste. It has no smell. It has no height, no weight. It has no time. It has no space. It has no properties of its own. And yet it is everything. It is shaped. Energy is shaped by consciousness.
Yep.
Consciousness gives energy every attribute it has, for better and for worse. For better could be ecstasy, and for worse could be cancer. But you and I and everyone, we control that. We do it. It is up to us.
Stephen, every month I usually do a little something from one of Wayne's books. I love for me the book that I started learning about from him was if you believe it, you will see it. And if you take paragraph by paragraph, it is so meaningful. I mean, for forgiveness and for hatred or for love or anything, he is just an amazing. Well, he's really a guide. He's an amazing person, and there's so much energy in that book. Oh, you can't read the book all at once. Any of his books, you have to read paragraph by paragraph for it to really sink in.
Yeah, I mean, remember when Wayne wrote about my book? You remember that? Do you remember what he wrote?
Yes.
He wrote, in regard to Stephen Lewis, EMC² and the AIM program.
Yes.
Everything is energy. Everything and everyone has a frequency. Those frequencies that are out of balance with our natural harmony can be identified and removed. I know this to be true. I have seen the sanctuary process at work. I practice it daily. My entire family participates in the AIM program, and I have seen wonderful results. This is real. It is transforming. It is true healing, and it is a giant step into the inevitable future, where each of us is our own personal, transcendental, and totally enlightened healer. I have found that in my higher self, and so can you. It's available now. That was a great, great thing, Wayne. When I asked Wayne, I said, listen, you read the book. I want you to write something about it. That's what he wrote.
Isn't that fantastic? Right. Yes, I remember that. And that's how I found you, and that's what made me say, "Wow, this is unbelievable." And I said, "Yes, that's really true." But of course, I had a little experience before you with this. I guess it's a program, the mind control program by Silva was an engineer, and I learned so much about everything you were saying. So I was open for all this because I believe it. I know that, at least I love science fiction, and I always have believed that if we were trained, we wouldn't have to speak. We would just look at each other and we would know exactly what we're saying to each other.
Well, yeah, it's all funny. In fact, back during those early days when I decided to write about this, and I asked the people who were my patients, and in some cases my friends, but they write something for the book. So Wayne wrote that. Now, a good friend of mine in L.A. wrote a very terse, brief statement. That's Herb Alpert. He wrote, "Future is here. Check it out."
That's good. Oh, yeah, that'd be a good Twitter.
Yeah, that's Herbie. So,
well,
yeah, that's a long time ago. But
yeah.
I know so much more about it now than I did then because I was very naive then. I thought, well, everyone's going to see what this is and sign up.
Right. That's a good
And I didn't understand people resist with great force and power. They resist the possibility of them healing themselves. It offends them. And I don't quite understand why still, but I know that it's true.
Why would
I
someone
know
then?
it's true.
All right. Why does someone believe in Jesus and all the other, I guess, religious?
But the message of Jesus and all the others is you can do it yourself.
So they believe them. Why don't they believe in this?
You got to have some special thing to be able to do it. You got to have the faith of a mustard seed. Now, I don't know much about cooking.
Right. I don't either.
It doesn't sound like much.
I really never understood that. You have to have the faith of a mustard seed. Well, tell me what that means. I don't understand that.
Well, I meant almost nothing. He said after he performed a given series of miracles, he said, greater things than these could you do if you had the faith of a mustard seed.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
If you had the faith of a mustard seed. Not if you have a mustard seed, if you have the faith of a mustard seed.
I see. Oh, okay. I got it.
Having a mustard seed won't do a hell of a lot for you, I don't think.
Right.
But so he was saying it's just faith that you need. And the point is, no one expects you to lose your intellect. They expect you to understand life is not simply an intellectual process. Like I said to that guy last night, I said, look, I think you're right. I think you are brighter than most people. But if that hasn't helped you, why doesn't that motivate you to seek an entirely different direction?
And he said,
you're so much more intelligent than most people. I know that.
And so what did he say?
He didn't know what to say. He just, I'm not interested in selling anyone anything.
Of course.
At all. But I was just curious because he's in my life, he comes around, I need something done. It's like the old days. I had to do everything myself as a kid. How to put a clutch in my car, etc. But if you reach a point where if you don't like doing that, you make money doing something else, and you pay someone to put in the clutch, or etc. Well, now cars are complex enough that if you haven't been there, sticking with it all along, it's not something you can do, and that's fine. Because who wants to? People want to do it who want to do it, and they do it, and we pay them to do it.
And and I want to introduce you again because we get so interested. I'm so interested in everything you say, and I hold on to it, and I'm sure our listeners do. But I want to remind them that they're listening to Stephen Lewis, who is co-founder of the Energetic Matrix Church of Consciousness. That's not a church; it's a Church of Consciousness. And we look at EMC², which of course is energy. And if you want to get on the website, you can do a couple of things. You can go to the AIM. It's actually aimprogram.com, AIM, A-I-M, aimprogram.com. But I always got on energeticmatrix.com. I think it still works. And
same website.
Yeah. And
same website.
yeah, of course, still works. And you can call, though, for information. If you like all this and you want to have a brochure, you want to know more, you want to join, I and many of my friends have been AIM supporters for a long time. We believe in it, and my husband's 91 and he's doing great, so it's got to, it's all part of
this may be a prophetic year, because I've said for a long time that I think about the second half of 2015, what is happening in the world will no longer be under the radar or come to public attention. I mean, because people are not doing well. And if you read the paper, all you read about is, this great new discovery. Okay, but the reality is people are not doing real well. And
you see a shift yourself?
Pardon me?
Do you see a shift?
I do, a big one, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I see it happening. I would say it will become a lot more manifest and evident by, let's call it the beginning of the fall, and quite manifest evident by the beginning of the winter.
So
that's what it looks like to me. And I've been wrong before, and I've been right before. So it's worth looking at and seeing, and there you have it.
well, I hadn't anything in my mind to make any changes that were negative, always positive. I have lots of things in my basket that I'm looking at that seem to be great. But whatever it is, I'm there. I do want to ask you a question, though. When someone dies and they're cremated, I always believe that you can never really die, that the energy that you have now, it goes wherever you have gone or something. Am I wrong? How do you see that?
Well, the theory is that matter can be neither created nor destroyed.
Right.
And the primitive example used is, yes, you can have water in a pot, and it evaporates, it goes into the atmosphere, and so the pot is empty, but then it rains and the pot is full, and
Yep.
so on and so on. It doesn't disappear.
Good analogy. Very good.
And that is indeed the case. But that's at a physical level. The real question is not that. That's a given, and it's primitive. The question is, you. What happens to you? And there are no experiments to demonstrate the answer. Now, huge numbers in the world, of the world, believe that the same process occurs, and they call it reincarnation. Many, I believe in reincarnation. But I cannot prove it, and I don't think anyone can prove it, but just out of my life experiences, I believe in reincarnation.
So in other words, if you were cremated...
And you don't,
right.
And you'd be a fool to try and prove it, because fundamentally, the only real proof would be someone saying, I was this, and I came back as that, and here I am. And everyone goes, wow, welcome back again. And who's going to, it's like there's a credibility factor there. And then there are a million people who make a living by helping you find your past lives. And probably some of them are very good at it and so on. There's some who somehow everybody who pays them for their services was Napoleon or was Alexander the Great, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with everybody who existed, only Napoleon and Alexander, came back, and all the rest, that's what happened to them. Well, what can you say? But I believe in reincarnation, I really do. And I think that realistically, when you heal your hereditary diseases, so that all these things, potential is what they call it. I think if something's hereditary, I think you have the disease, but that's my belief. I believe that is a chronicle and history of your past lives. I think it really does transcend your parents. I really think so.
That's interesting.
An average person can come here with several hundred hereditary disease frequencies. And I think it's much more than their parents. It's just their existence. There is an essence. We name one such essence Anita for this period of time. In a previous period of time, that essence was named someone else. And next time it'll be someone else. But it is essentially you. And the same applies to me and applies to all of us. But that can't be proved, can it?
Well, like so many things, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that's why we started off by saying you could do greater stuff than this if you had the faith of a mustard seed.
Mm.
And it's amazing that people billions and millions of America Sunday morning go to church and they hear lectures about this stuff. They go, oh, great, great, great sermon. But when they are faced with any situation where they have a chance to have that faith, they go, oh, no, I don't believe in that.
Really?
Okay, don't. The choice is whether or not you are just a chip and buffeted by life, or whether you control the forces in your life, because you have the power to create your own life.
I believe that.
Yeah. You have the power to use your consciousness to shape the everything, the energy, into something you want, as opposed to something you don't want. You have that power. If you use it, if you seize it, you got to believe in it first.
Sometimes there is negative power too, and that's unfortunate. There are people who...
Well, I don't think anybody wants to have cancer.
I wasn't talking about cancer.
And cancer is a real thing.
Yeah.
Who would say it's not real? But certainly it's real. And I don't think anyone wants to have it. But the reality is, you created it, and even now that you've created it, you can uncreate it, you can change it, you can heal it. Healing happens all the time. You go look at the medical journals and you'll see all these articles that they call anecdotal about someone with an absolutely terminal degree or case of cancer or whatever it may be, who has, for no apparent reason, a spontaneous remission, and that's it. And now it's 5 years later, and they had like 10 days left to live. Now they're playing tennis. What the hell happened?
Right, I've heard that, and now we have to go. What the hell happened to the time? This has been fascinating, absolutely fascinating. Well, got a lot to think about, and I appreciate your being so generous with your time and helping so many people.
It's my great pleasure.
It's mine
too,
too,
Stephen.
Stephen.
To each other for many
many
years.
That's right. This is the beginning. That's true. And if I'm no longer here, you're going to still talk to me somewhere, right?
I'll be talking to you right here, I believe.
Good. I hope so. I think so. I'm joyful for it. Okay. Thank you, Stephen, my friend. You're just great. And we'll talk again, and take care of yourself.
Take care, Anita.
All right. Bye.